Hi there, welcome to my channel. My name is Marcella and I am an Avon ambassador. Very excited to share with you a new Avon incentive called Avon Go Far Costa Rica. So Avon announced this incentive about a month ago or so now during Avon Connect, which is our yearly convention. And this is a brand new incentive for 2024. It starts now in 2024 and goes all the way through 2025. So let's see what Avon Go Far is all about. So yes, this is for all Avon ambassadors. And yep, you're reading that right. It started in campaign 18 of 2024. So by the time you're reading this, it's already past campaign 18. But just be aware that whatever you sold in campaign 18 or whoever you've recruited in campaign 18 does qualify towards this incentive. And it's going on through campaign 21 of 2025. So you can see here the dates, August 28th of 2024 through October of 2025. So here you can see some images of Costa Rica. Let me share with you all quickly the name of the resort. I probably should have that on here, but here are some photos of the resort. I believe it's a Westin resort, but I'm gonna quickly check into my avon.com incentives hub, which if you want to learn more about this incentive, I highly recommend you go over to the incentives hub. You can get a lot more details in there, but we are going to be going to the Westin Reserva Conchal at Playa Conchal. Very, very excited in Costa Rica. So let's learn a little bit more about how you can earn this incentive and what it entails. So the great thing about incentives, trips is that they're always all expenses paid. So this is all expenses paid trip to Costa Rica, and this is going to be happening in the spring of 2026. So remember, we're starting this incentive in 2024 all the way through almost the end of 2025. And then this trip is actually going to happen in the spring of 2026. Okay. So you'll be able to explore, relax, and live the Pura Vida life with unforgettable experiences for a once in a lifetime celebration of your success. Alrighty. So how do you achieve Avon Go Far? So again, this is going from campaign 18, 2024 through campaign 21, 2025. So you essentially have 30 campaigns to achieve a trip for one or possibly a trip for two. Now, if you are a new Avon, not representative, now we're ambassadors. If you're a new Avon ambassador and perhaps you joined Avon, you're watching this and it's campaign 3 of 2025, keep in mind that you don't have 30 campaigns. You have from the time you join through campaign 21. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Now we're going to go into the nitty gritty, and please do not be overwhelmed by this next slide. But it's the best way that Avon has been able to present this incentive to us and how we can earn it. Okay, so you're going to see a massive chart here. I'm going to walk you through the chart and how you can earn Avon Go Far. So essentially, you are going to earn by achieving within your base tier in this chart right here. And this is based on your personal sales over the prior year. So let's start off here with the base tier. Okay, you guys see right here, the first row, it says base tier. This base tier is your incentive access your access starting line to begin ranking to earn. So this base tier here is where you're going to identify which tier you're going to fall into and which tier you're going to be able to play in order to achieve this incentive. So again, you see here, the base tier is going to be your prior year sales from campaign 12 of 2023 through campaign 15 of 2024. The good news is you don't have to do any math because Avon has already done that for you. If you don't already know which base tier you fall into, you can actually go into your Avon account, head it over to that incentives hub and click on the Avon Go Far get details or check tracker. And if you check your personal tracker, you will see which tier you fall into. So again, they already did the math for you. And later on here, I'm going to show you some examples, but just know here, this is the base tier. As you see, there's a tier 1, 2, and 3, and 4 are all sales based. And then there is a leader tier. So if you are somebody who recruits or would like to get into recruiting, you can actually earn this incentive through recruiting. And then there is the ACE tier. So ACE is Avon's, or ACE stands for Avon Celebrates Excellence Awards. And this is a award that ambassadors. I'm trying to train my brain to say ambassadors, that ambassadors are able to play in and earn. And there's different categories within the ACE Awards. So I talk about the ACE Awards a little bit later, but there is a whole tier for the ACE Awards as well. Okay, so once you've identified what tier you want to play in, or you can play in, you then want to look into the incentive access starting line, which is where you have to look at the personal sales minimum. Okay, so this is going to be the requirement that you have to sell or recruit over your base qualification. So again, we already determined base qualification is where Avon is looking at your past sales from campaign 12, 2023 through campaign 15 of 2024. So if you are somebody who falls in the tier 1 category, that means that your personal sales minimum is $12,000 plus. Now, I'm going to make it clear as well. If you are a new beauty ambassador without a base, okay, so let's say you joined past this where it says campaign 15, 2024. Let's say you join in campaign 18 of 2024 and you don't have any sales past sales that Avon is looking at, then you automatically fall into the tier 1 category if you're a new Avon ambassador, okay? And so again, here you're seeing that in tier 1, if you want to play in tier 1, in order for you to even get to the starting line of this incentive, you need to have a minimum of $12,000 within that time frame. So remember, we have from campaign 18 of 2024 through campaign 21 of 2025 to get to those sales is 12K. But this is very important. You want to keep in mind that just because you are in the tier 1 and you sold $12,000 by the end of the incentive period, which is campaign 21, 2025, does not mean that you are going to earn this trip. Because if you see right below that, it says you will earn when you rank. If you fall in the tier 1 category, only the top 50 ambassadors within this tier are going to earn the trip for one. So again, while you may fall in the tier 1 category, you do not want to set your goal at $12,000 because I'm pretty sure there's going to be a lot of representatives that are going to surpass that $12,000. You want to sell more than $12,000. So again, it's important that you know which tier you fall into now, identify what your access starting line is, and give yourself a goal that's higher than that sales minimum, personal sales minimum, okay? So let's say I'm in tier 1 and I'm going to give myself a goal of reaching $20,000. I want to sell $20,000 before the end of campaign 21, 2025. That might put you in the top 50. We don't know, right? Because this incentive just started. The good thing though is that Avon does have a ranking report that is coming out every single campaign. So you are able to see which within the nation, within your tier, within all the ambassadors in the country, where you fall, which is really, really nice because that is something that always motivates me. I love seeing where I fall in the ranking because if I see that I'm number 12 in the ranking, I am so close to be, obviously if you're number 12, you're definitely going to be in that top 50. But let's say, for example, you're in the top, you're number 70 in the nation. You know that you want to get to that top 50. So it really allows you to set your goals. Okay. So that is how the incentive works. And that example that I gave for tier 1, you're going to also look at tier 2 and see that there is a separate personal sales minimum. So you see here, it's a personal sales minimum of 6K over your base tier. So let's say you're in tier 2 and your prior year sales are $20,000. In order for you to even access that starting line, you have to sell $26,000 within the incentive timeframe. Okay. But again, you want to keep in mind that you are playing in this game with other representatives who also fall into this tier. So you don't want to only sell $26,000. You want to surpass $26,000 And again, that's where those ranking reports really come in handy, because you're able to see where you fall within the other ambassadors that are in your tier. And then you see that for tier 3 and tier 4, you just have to reach your whatever your prior year sales were. So let's say you're in tier 3 and you sold $40,000 last year. In order for you to access that starting line, you just have to get to $40,000 and then obviously surpass those $40,000 in order for you to even begin ranking. Something to keep in mind is, you guys can see here, for every tier, it does look different. So for example, top 1, you got to be in the top 50. For tier 2, you got to be in the top 50 as well. But then within those top 50, the top 25 are also going to earn a trip for 2. So keep in mind that you want to look out for what tier you fall into. And then you want to be that top, let's say you're really, really, really gunning for a trip for 2, you want to bring your best friend or your partner, and you fall into tier 3, you want to make sure that you're within that top 15 in your tier to get that trip for 2. Okay, now my favorite, leadership. So you see over here, we have a leadership tier. So if you are somebody who loves recruiting or you want to get into recruiting, Avon is saying that in order for you to even access that starting line, you need to have 25 new personal qualified new recruits that place a $100 minimum first order. Okay, so again, don't just set your goal at 25. Make it 50, so like give yourself the goal. Okay, we have 30 campaigns. I want to recruit 2 new people every single campaign, and I'm going to make sure they place that $100 minimum order. If I reach that goal, 30 campaigns times 2, I'm going to recruit 60 people, and I'm sure that's going to definitely put you in the top 10 in the nation. Again, I don't know though. Maybe it won't, maybe it will, but that's where those ranking reports do come in handy. And I'm going to go a little bit deeper into what the requirements are, or the rules are around the qualified new recruit. We're going to talk about that a little bit later. And then you see here again, there's that ACE tier. ACE again stands for Avon Celebrates Excellence Award. So if you are the number 1 achiever between campaign 1 and campaign 26, I'm guessing that's of 2025, for the ACE tier, then you will automatically get the trip for 2. Now, keep in mind that within the ACE awards, there are multiple categories that you can rank in. So we'll talk a little bit more about that later. Let me see if I missed anything before moving on. Okay. So again, I know this is kind of a lot to look at because there's just so many numbers and so many columns and charts, but again, Avon has this very well laid out for you on avon.com under the incentives hub. They have a tracker where it shows you can just focus on your goal, see what tier you fall into. Let's move on. Okay, so now I'm going to give you an example. I know I kind of provided a couple examples earlier, but let's just do a couple more. So let's say Maria sold $21,000 between campaign 12 of 2023 through campaign 15 of 2024. And she knows this because she went to the tracker for Avon Go Far, and Avon made it clear for her she sold $21,000. So this puts Maria in tier 2. Now, in order for Maria to access the incentive, she has to sell $6,000 above her base tier. Because remember, if we look into tier 2, you see here that she, in order to access that starting line, she needs personal sale minimum of $6,000. Okay. So $21,000 plus $6,000 equals $27,000. All right, so Maria's very first goal, very first thought in her mind is like, all right, well, $27,000. I need to make sure I sell that from campaign 18 to campaign 21 in order to access, even get on that starting line. But if she wants to be ranking within the top 50 or 25, she's going to have to surpass those $27,000 because trust me, I'm sure there will be plenty of representatives in there that have perhaps higher goals, or they just sell more. So again, that's where it's very important to look into that ranking report. But yeah, it's as simple as that. You know your goal, you know how many campaigns you have till you can achieve that goal. You have your ranking report, so you see where you fall within your tier throughout the entire nation. And so it makes it easy for you to set your goals every single campaign. Alrighty, now let's talk about leadership. Let's give an example on leadership. So Nicole wants to play in the leadership tier. This means that in order for her to get on the starting line, she must recruit 25 new qualified new recruits who place a $100 minimum first order. So all new personally sourced qualified new recruits will have the campaign that they joined plus 2 full campaigns to place the first $100 order, which is amazing. Let's say somebody joins in campaign 19. They don't place their first order because they're still talking about their Avon business, sharing the brochure, sharing their online store. But let's say her second campaign, she's ready to go, ready to place her first order. And let's say she places a $150 order. Boom. That is a Q&R for you. And she then counts for your Avon Go Far incentive goal. Alrighty. I think okay, so yeah, pretty much give that example here. So example, personally sourced recruit who joins in campaign 18 of 2024, and she has not placed a $100 order in either campaign 18 or 19, can still place an order in campaign 20 to count towards a leader's qualification. So you have over a month to really work with this qualified new recruit, get her started, get her going, really explain the business to her and how she can start selling. So keep that in mind as you are recruiting. Another thing to keep in mind is that when Avon is saying a $100 qualifying order, this may either be from either a single order. So for example, she places a $100 order in campaign 19, or this can be from cumulative sales from multiple orders within the same campaign. So for example, let's say in campaign 19, she places a personal order of $40. And then within that same campaign, she gets an online customer order of $60. That comes out to $100 in cumulative sales. Please note that cumulative sales across campaigns does not qualify. So for example, in campaign 19, she places an order of $25, and then in campaign 20, a $75 order does not qualify. So these are some things to keep in mind if you plan on playing in the leadership tier. Alrighty, so now let's talk about the ACE Award. So if you're somebody who wants to explore and play in the ACE tier, this is something that I would suggest you do. Head on over to avon.com and follow these steps in order to review what the categories are for the ACE Awards. So you're going to go to Manage Business, Seller Central, Rewards and Recognition, and then you'll find the Avon Celebrates Excellence Award tab, and then go ahead and review those categories. So you'll see this is what it should look like. And then I would click in the pink where it says 2024 2024 North American Recognition Program FAQs. There are a ton of different categories that you can actually play in. I'll name some off, but again, if you want to look more into what the ACE Awards are, I would highly recommend you follow these steps and look into what the categories are and how you can start playing in the ACE Awards. So some of the categories are personal sales volume, personal sales increase, best new performer, LABC, direct delivery new customer. And then if you're somebody who's in leadership, you can also look into the team sales volume category and team sales increase category. So again, follow those steps and review what the categories are. Alrighty, so I already mentioned this before, but if you want to know what tier you're playing in, you can easily figure that out by heading over to your avon.com account, logging in, and then going to the Manage Business tab. And then within that tab, you'll see there is a section called Seller Central. And then under Seller Central, you will see there is an Incentive Hubs category that you can click. And then the first thing you should see is the Avon Go Far Costa Rica tab. And then you want to click where it says check tracker, and that'll immediately take you to your tracker where you can discover what your tier is, what your goal is. And even Avon even goes as far as letting you know how much you should sell within every campaign in order to achieve that goal. But remember, just because your goal, for example, like Maria's was $27,000, you want to sell over that, because I'm sure that when you check that tracker that shows you where you're playing within all of the representatives, there's going to be representatives that probably sell more than that. So keep that in mind. Okay, I've mentioned this tracker quite a bit, but if you want to see where it is, please follow these steps. So you're going to want to head over to Vibe. Vibe in your Avon account is going to be at the very top right corner. It's right next to where it says Avon YouTube, then it says Vibe. Click where it says Vibe, and then once you're in Vibe, you're going to click where it says Team Reports, Static, incentive tracking, and then click where it says Go Far Costa Rica, and you'll be able to download an Excel sheet. And that Excel sheet has separate tabs, and it shows you which tier you can then look into and see where you fall. Find your tier, and you can search your name, and you'll see where you fall in that in the tracking. Alrighty, and so that is pretty much it. I know I shared a ton of information, but guys, I know so many of us can achieve this. Again, this is for all ambassadors. So it doesn't matter if you just joined Avon today or if you've been a rep for 10 plus 20 years, you can play in Avon Go Far. Again, this is going through campaign 21 of 2025. So I don't know when you're watching this, but if you're watching this in September of 2024, which is when I am posting this video, you have well over a year to work on your goals. Let me know down below what tier you fall into, because I would love to know who is playing against who. I kind of view this as like a game, right? Because you're kind of competing with other you are competing with other ambassadors. You're competing with other ambassadors within your tier to be in that top, whether it's 25, top 15, top 50, top, there's a lot of different in their top 10. I personally am going to be playing in the leadership category. So that's where I will be, in the leadership category. But let me know down below what tier you plan on playing in, or you can play in, because there might be the chance where you're obviously in a sales tier, and then you can also play in the leadership tier or the ACE awards tier. So yeah, let me know down below, and of course, let me know if you have any questions. I am so excited to go to Costa Rica. It's actually been on my bucket list for the longest time, so I cannot wait. And I will see you in the next video. Bye.